All right, we'll open up.
Okay.
So I'll open the Board of Health meeting at 6 p.m. on December 11th. Roll call,
James LaQueer?
Gavin Byers, Chris Nocella is out. Additions or deletions?
None?
That's nice. No septic permits for review. 1.46 Barker Hill Road, housing update.
Is this in your package?
Yeah, so did you guys get
Yeah.
a chance to read through any of that
I
yet?
read the first page.
So yeah, if you wanna read through it, it'll all become public record, but rather than getting into details, I think they're all kind of similar circumstances where, they were, these two particular ones, so 6 Barker Hill Road and 152 Barker Hill Road. One was referred to us by the police department, one by the fire department, and they both supplied us with, reports based on their visits and explain why they contacted us as far as, just the sanitary conditions inside and outside the homes. And so, 6 Barker Hill Road, I had sent a letter to request an inspection. I also went out there with Gary Shepherd and knocked on the door and didn't have anybody answer the door. Didn't get any response to the letter. 152 Barker Hill Road, we just got at the end of last week, and so we haven't taken any kind of action as far as that one goes. But typically we'd start with at least asking if they would let us in to do an inspection. But ultimately, I think what the board has to decide is, how we're gonna move forward with these, and we had talked to Adam, a couple of years ago, when we were finishing up Janice's, and essentially the answer that he gave us is that the Board of Health is under no obligation to pursue these issues. And so, we have to attempt to inspect, we have to attempt to remedy the issue, but at the end of the day, if we can't get in there to do the inspection, and we have to start using town council to get administrative search warrants, and keep on going down kind of that legal path, how far does the board wanna go with these? And all of them are single-family residences, so it's not like the ones in the apartment building where, it really is having, an immediate impact on their neighbors.
Can we even ask, is it owner occupied?
Both of them are.
And then, is there anything out of date in terms of permitting or any tax issues or anything
I
like
haven't
that?
looked into that.
Just kind of a thought process on that. Jim, do you have any thoughts on those?
I respect the mentioning of the taxation to make sure the taxes are current. These situations are difficult to handle, and when we can't get the owners to get back to us, there's obviously an issue involved that they don't want to disclose. And I guess the next step to do is, if we can't make the progress that they've made with Rick and Gary Shepherd going out there, we're gonna have to go to council. Give it one attempt with council, see what that happens, how that transpires, just to get into the building and do an inspection. These can be very nasty.
Yeah, do you think we can get, maybe a Board of Selectmen thought?
That's what the letter that is before you, Rick had drafted, and it's a letter asking the town administrator through the Board of Selectmen to ask their thoughts, if we could have a joint meeting, letting them be aware that there is a concern, and money and budget will be an issue.
Yep.
So
So that was they haven't responded though.
well, we haven't signed it,
just,
so that's
oh,
why
I
you
just
drafted it today,
just
so-
drafted
Yeah,
it.
so you could look at it and potentially sign it if you're happy with it
Yeah.
tonight.
And you have one, and Jim has one, so that would be great if you could both sign it, so we have 2 originals, one can go up to the select one, we can keep one in our office.
Now, this the pictures of the houses?
That is the
No, that's
third
for-
house.
That's the third one,
That
okay.
is,
Alright,
so
one
one Oak
Oak
Circle.
Circle, which it's really not Oak Circle, it's on, when you come around the corner, it's the house that's in front of Oak Circle. Did you see those, Rick?
No, I didn't see the picture.
Yeah, I think that's why, are all you guys here for Oak Circle?
Yeah, so, yeah,
Okay,
I'm at two, so the one kind of faces, it's on Oak Circle, but it faces Ponderosa.
yeah, so
Oh,
this is,
those pictures there, that's Ponderosa, that's like 25 Ponderosa.
Right, and that's the house that I believe is the one in question, right?
No,
Because I saw nothing at Oak Circle. When I went there, I couldn't see anything
That's-
to take any pictures.
yeah,
That's how bad it is, it's in the woods,
it's behind all the trees,
yeah.
across the
Okay.
street from
All right,
that house,
well,
you
that's-
just,
Okay,
of the pictures you have.
okay, okay.
yeah, I didn't think that was it.
Okay, all right, and that's why I said to you, Gavin, I thought that it was the unregistered vehicles, and there was just a few. So obviously, we cannot see it from the road.
It's
Well,
kind
it
of
blends in with the landscaping, because it's a brown house, dark brown, the trees are brown. You can see it from, it's like 25 feet from the road, it's not that far in.
It's probably 50 feet from the
50,
road, so.
Do you
the-
have, do you have pictures?
I have some in my phone. Unitil had to come out and have the tree company come out because the overgrowth was getting so high, it was hitting the power lines, and last side, at the end of the summer, it caught on fire. So they came and did some back cutting.
Yeah, just give us a second on that. So we're gonna sign the letter for, this is for 6.
I mean, really, it's for,
Both,
it
any of
seems
them?
like this is becoming an
Okay.
issue. I mean, you know, in the past month, we've gotten 3 referrals, and 2 came in the past week, so,
Yeah,
you know, it's just kind of an issue moving forward, and we need to know, you know, how we should be handling these, so, you know, do we go as far as we can without involving council? Do we have the support of the Board of Selectmen as far as use of council to continue down the road? You know, we need to know how to deal with them.
yeah, okay. So we're signing these letters now, oops, sorry. So we'll send that in and we'll try to have a joint meeting. So then, so 1.5 is One Oak Circle, which is a similar issue, except I don't think anybody has seen the inside of the house, but there's lots of complaints about the outside of the house. Yeah, can we take a look if you've got a couple pictures?
Yeah. So.
Rick, you can show Rick first.
So this is one of the vehicles that's been sitting there. The license plate's like,
It's all that.
yeah, it's sinking into the ground. This one here has been there for 3 years, it's 20. The car in front of it's been there for, I think, 6 years. So it's a little more in the ground. I went over there because I thought the electrical service was gonna be an issue, like as a hazard. They got 2 big trees growing up to the electrical service, the weatherhead's hanging off the house. And her husband, we haven't seen him in 6 months. Like, we don't even know, like, is he okay? I went and knocked on the door, and if you look at the car here, the car is basically a recycle center, both of them. And the one she drives now, her new vehicle, it's up to the windows, just with stuff they're saving or recycle or whatever. When I went to the door and knocked on the door twice in probably a couple days span, there was no answer. And the little bit that I could see through the door, it almost looked like the car. And I know from past years of seeing him, he's a larger gentleman. So it's just like it's a worry. Is he okay? Is he alive? If somebody has to go in there, it's going to be an issue. I mean, the front steps here, you really can't see them. They're broken and sunken in the ground. They're
Yeah.
And then there's just numerous trees that are just broken and just overgrown. I don't know. The septic truck never comes there. Like, we don't, like, is it, it's a fire issue, it's a health issue, it's a number of issues. And like I said, they just cut back, I don't know if I have it here. So they just cut all this back here. This you couldn't see around the corner of Ponderosa. It was a safety issue for coming in out of Oak Circle. So we as neighbors, Rich and I and the Balbonis, we tend to cut that strip of grass and trim it away from the corner so you can see when you're coming in and out. And so, but that was just like the first 6 feet. So the power company actually had to come out.
Can we see those pictures?
Yeah. They actually had to come back out and do a huge back cut so you can just scroll.
Are you from public health or building or what?
The Neshoba Board of Health is where I work for, so I'm the agent for
They
these guys.
had raccoons up in the attic
Okay.
and many years ago, and they had somebody else, and they got them out. They sealed up all the vents up in the attic,
Okay.
so everything's
This is all
sealed up.
Tomwood Park.
We
Mhm.
never see any lights
Yeah.
from the house or anything.
So,
I haven't
you guys
seen-
called the police at all for a wellness check?
No, I just brought it to the town's attention first. I didn't
Sure.
want to make a.
I see her every day.
Okay.
I walk my dog up and down the street in the morning and at night. I see her going to work at night,
Okay.
in the evening, not at night.
What's behind
And
the
I've seen
door?
her in the morning putting out trash on Friday
Oh,
morning.
it's on-
So she's been seen by
She
her husband
she
now.
comes and goes, and she works at the liquor store by Hannaford. But like I said, I haven't seen him. You know, we usually see him once in a while
Sure.
going out with the car with her, but. And then so I wanted to kind of like know. So when she went to work, I went and knocked on the door, 2 separate occasions, and you know I knocked pretty good, and no response. Like not a sound in the house. And at nighttime, like there's no lights on. Not-
You
not
can't
one
see
light
into
on
the
in there.
house. It could be he's not even there.
Sure.
We don't know that,
Yeah.
but
And you guys don't have enough of a rapport with her to
no,
ask her that?
Not really. I mean,
nobody does.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I know that the owner on the left side of her, he couldn't be here tonight because he's got COVID. Older gentleman, Balboni, he's got kind of a farm fence on the property line, and he cuts probably 10 feet of her brush back from his fence because he's worried about a fire happening and, you know,
Sure.
something happening on his property.
Yeah, I'll put a pair of trees right in the end of the house.
Yeah,
That's there all the time.
yeah, yeah.
Did you say there's a meter on the house?
There
Power
is
meter?
there is a meter. The weatherhead's hanging off, and there's 2 big trees growing right up against the
Yeah, I
house.
see
That's
that.
what we're looking at.
So I wanted to, offer, I'm an electrician. I'll just want to fix it for you so nothing else catches on fire.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, it's all set. Don't worry about it. I'm like, okay,
Is
Susan.
that an asphalt roof or a wooden shingle roof?
It's asphalt.
It is asphalt.
So they just did the roof probably in the last 10 years. Both vents on the end of the roof, they were both missing for I can't tell you how many years, probably 10 years. Then they finally did the roof and put new vents on. There are new vents on, right?
No, they're all sealed up now.
They're sealed up.
Everything's sealed up.
Yeah, and it's just, it's frightening.
Yeah.
You know, and now she's got that new car, and gradually, I could see stuff in her window. But now it's like I went to the supermarket the other night, and it was in the parking lot, and I took a picture of it that I have here, and you can see in the window, like it's already halfway up the window. It's almost a safety
Oh, that's
issue.
a picture of that?
That's her green car that she drives now. It's already up to the windows here. That's the front seat. That's the back. I mean, look how high it is. It's almost over her seats.
We have no jurisdiction over the automobile, but we should have jurisdiction over the house. I'm
Yeah.
very curious about the fact you said you haven't seen the guy in a long time.
A long,
period.
yeah. I probably the last time I'd seen him go out in the car with her, because they would like randomly go out. He'll go out with her for dinner or wherever they're going, like early evening. And that was probably a good 6 months ago. That last time I've seen him. And again, like I said, he's a big gentleman and a larger gentleman. And when I looked in that side door, the little bit I could see, it was like a maze in there. And the floor was like covered, I can't even tell you if it was cardboard or paper, and it was like, and this is why the neighbor on the left, he always told me, he's like, I cut the yard back 10 feet. And he's like, that place is going to go up like a matchbook.
I've asked before, but what are the resources for anything like this?
Any idea how old they are?
The residents?
Yeah.
they've gotta be late 60s anyways,
In the 60s. yeah.
early 70s.
Yeah,
He is,
so
I
they're
think.
at least hovering right around the potential for like involvement from elder services. I mean, it's tough from those pictures. I mean, I don't really see a ton for us to go on,
Yeah.
but I would start with the police going over there for a wellness visit, potentially trying to get our nurses involved and in the door, and then you'll see them where it goes. I mean, the issue is that ultimately we need to complete an inspection if we're gonna do anything on the inside. And with these other ones, we have public officials that gave us reports of the conditions inside, so going and get an administrative search warrant is likely
Okay.
for that one. We just don't have enough information to try to convince a judge to let us in the door through a search warrant. And so that one's a little bit tougher, and so we kind of have to try to get our foot in the door somehow. But I would say, if you've got concerns about that gentleman that lives there, I would call the police and make your concerns known and ask if they could do a wellness visit.
And then they can report when they open the door and see what the house looks like.
If
They
they
can
get in
report to
there,
you guys
Yeah.
what it actually looks like.
If they're willing to report.
Oh,
Yes.
if the police are
Also,
willing to
I mean,
report.
sometimes they won't give us reports that give us information that we would want, but at least we would check one of the concerns off the box, either that, the gentleman's okay or he's not.
Right.
And then we can, go from there with other resources we might have, which, they are limited. If they're elderly and they qualify for elder services, then,
Now, when you say elderly, is that like over 62 or like?
it's old. Yeah, I mean, I think it starts right around 70 somewhere.
Okay.
I'd have to check. Our nurses usually handle that part of it,
Right.
but I think it's right around 70.
And wouldn't it be a police officer's duty to, if he went in there and said, geez, this place isn't safe, it's a hoarding situation, to report it to the town? I mean,
That's not really our place to say what their responsibilities are or their individual duties are in those situations. One would hope,
right,
right,
right.
community-wise, but these things have happened in the past, and it's been difficult to get an official report.
What about the vehicles on the property,
Those-
sitting there for years?
So those fall under, it was the Board of Selectmen, but I
Selectmen.
transferred, did they end up transferring that to the police, or did the Board of Selectmen keep that portion?
Last I thought it was the selectmen.
Okay.
Did you
Because
think
I
it was
knew
the
Eric
police?
at the time when he was
Chartrand?
Eric Chartrand was the
Okay.
building commissioner. He was trying to get it given to him, but I think there was some pushback on it, so I believe it still falls under the Board of Selectmen, the unregistered
One of
cars.
the bigger concerns I have is to find out if the gentleman's there, or if he's been put into a rehab place or where he might be at.
Would that be an environmental
anybody
hazard
that's
with
actually living
the oil?
in
Yeah, I mean, if we could say, our issue is we can't go in there and say this might be happening, we need to go in there and say this is happening. And so, unfortunately, our regulations aren't really proactive, they're
How can you,
reactive.
how can you make that judgment if you can't,
Yeah.
Pretty tough, right?
after years of sitting there?
Well, my,
Ugh, yeah.
yeah.
Can you
Would
say for
assume-
sure that it's leaking oil into the ground?
No, I guess you can't, but
So that's my issue is you can make assumptions, but how I always think of things is, if I could go in front of a judge and I could say with certainty that this is happening, then it's something that's enforceable.
is
If I
there a
can't,
town law about standing vehicles?
only the unregistered vehicles, which falls under, that doesn't fall under us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I believe it's the,
Unregistered vehicles.
believe it's the Board of Selectmen that does that.
Yeah, so with the letter that Rick drafted, that's gonna go to the Board of Selectmen. We'll start the process of trying to get with them and having a joint meeting to discuss how to deal with these. We'll keep it on. Can we keep these on,
The continuum, yeah.
continue them together as one piece,
Like a housing update.
like a housing update?
Yes.
And then that way we could just list everything
Just
together.
Creating a paper trail for the
Paper
Board of
trail.
Health, so that we've been after this.
Yeah.
And we're not on the side by, we need assistance, we can't do it on our own.
But in the meantime, what I can do for the One Oak Circle one is, I can ask our nurses to try to make contact with her,
Okay,
and I would suggest that you guys reach out to the police where you have kind of more knowledge of what's been going on and ask if they would be willing to do a wellness check.
Yeah, and I think at that point, when they come by, I'll try to be home when the officer comes so I can talk to them and say, if you do get in there, can you kind of report to the town, like,
yeah.
the conditions?
And
Somebody
and
needs
if
to be
you
aware of
s-
what's going on in there.
Right,
If they, I mean, look at the car. If the cars are like that, you know,
Yeah.
they like abandon the car in the yard and it's full of stuff. Now she's got a new car and that car's full of stuff. Like,
yeah. Just be mindful of, you know, when police show up at people's houses, sometimes they get a little bitter at the rest of the neighborhood, so, you know, mind that kind of,
yeah,
That's what they answer
more
to.
help.
yeah.
Easier help is better than tough help in this
Yeah.
situation.
If they were elderly and like they were incapable, you know, it would, to me, it would be a different story. I mean, she's up and out every day, like
Yeah.
she's, you know, and it's like, all right, well,
Yeah.
you know, you live in a neighborhood.
Yeah. Do you know anybody that has a good relationship with her at all? Yeah, no.
Nobody.
Nobody really. She
Yeah.
just like,
Does she talk to any of the neighbors at all?
no,
Just
there's,
says hi when I walk by with the dog.
Yeah, I mean, I would think that that's probably the better bridge of communication. Or, you know, but if you're not comfortable with that, that's understandable too. So, we've got a little bit of a plan in place from our end, so we'll do what we can. It'll stay on the agenda,
For a period of time.
for a period of time. Yeah,
Mhm.
some of these
Yeah.
things, you know, take a
I'll
little
give a
time.
call for a wellness check and have an officer go by and hopefully I can, he'll put a report in of the
Yeah,
conditions.
that would help.
You know, and
That would
again,
be starting point A at this stage of the game.
right,
And then we'll follow it through after that with the help of Rick, and we'll probably have to have council get involved.
mhm,
So, and that's gotta go through the selectmen also.
right.
Yeah. Questions on
They
that?
are all about their privacy. Kevin wanted to have some trees cut down across the street, across from his property, which is a distance from our house, I don't know, about 50 feet, 60 feet. Yep.
Yeah.
And they're huge pine trees. He was gonna pay for them. She says, no. We want our privacy.
It was more of a safety issue because they're kind of leaning, they're on the edge of the property on a mound and they're leaning towards my house in my yard. So I was having some tree work done in my yard and I asked, I said, Susan, I'll pay for it. Do you mind if I take these few trees down? They're leaning and, you know, nobody's benefiting from them. And she just, you know, no, I don't want to take them down. Well, that's fine. That's, you know, no problem. You know, but again, it's like the woods were catching on fire. They had to come and back cut 20 feet or so from the edge of the street. And that's what I'm worried about. That's what the other neighbors on the side of her are worried about. You know, again, Ray couldn't be here tonight, but he cuts back 20 feet into her yard from his fence. He's an older guy and he's nervous about it,
Yeah.
you know.
Unfortunately, so much of this stuff is out of our control.
Oh, no, I get it. I get it.
As much as we'd like to see action take place, it's
Yeah.
something that we can't deal with because it's not our responsibility.
Right.
So we'll go to Plan A first to see what we get out of that, and then we'll
Okay.
try to cross the Ts and dot the Is after that happens.
Okay. Yeah, let's try to get somebody to go over and do a wellness check on them. Okay,
Sounds good.
fair enough. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right.
Anything to add on that, Carla?
I don't know,
Sound good?
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
make
Thank
that
you.
call,
What's that?
make that call.
I will
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Let's
Have a
see.
good night.
Thank you.
Good night, guys. Thank
Happy
you.
holidays.
1.7,
Thank you.
increasing BOH permit fees. Are we gonna continue that?
That should be continued till we get Chris back.
We're still looking at haulers, we haven't got enough information with the haulers, but I think you're pretty set with the single component septic, being 50 and a complete upgrade being 75. The hauler fees aren't due until June, so it's not something that we have to worry about right
Mhm.
now. We'd like to get the correct information, and I'm sure you'd like a full quorum to make a vote on that.
Okay, 1.8 annual food permits passed per past due.
Rick, I'm asking your thoughts because I've sent
Right.
out friendly reminders twice now.
Were there any checks in that folder I just gave you?
I didn't check.
Okay. So, I guess my thought is, we're right around the time when the Board of Selectmen are renewing their common vic licenses. Make the Board of Selectmen aware that there are fees due to the Board of Health for their food service permits, and if they could help us to collect those,
I already
that would
did,
be great.
but,
Cause that's
And-
really my only thought right now.
okay.
Short of that, we're just gonna have to keep on badgering, for them. And, we could send one of the food inspectors over to the places if we're not getting anywhere and see if we can do that.
Did Family Dollar have a tobacco violation recently?
It was Mr. Mike's and.
I thought there were two.
It was two.
Right.
The other
And
one was
I-
Honeyland.
Was it
Oh,
Honeyland?
Honeyland.
Yes,
Okay,
yes, and that was a cigar misbranding. So-
gotcha.
And we are very close with the tobacco regulations. I think you'll probably see that in January.
Yeah. Okay, so work session 1.9.
Rick, I'll see you tomorrow.
I'll be here.
Okay.
Thanks, Rick, for everything.
Yeah, no problem.
Appreciate
Have a good
it.
day, guys.
Thanks for drafting that letter
Yeah,
too.
no
Quick
problem.
notice, that was
Good.
awesome.
Yeah, no problem. Alright, I'll see you guys.
Thank
Good.
you, see ya.
The recycling center entrance gate is really Chris's kind of baby
Yep.
with the capital planning, so we'll continue to a full quorum.
Yep.
Invoices, not a lot. Carla doesn't do a lot of traveling, trying to keep the company car as much as possible. Fridays are a problem where the building department is not open, so we've cut that down dramatically. I went off to see if I could get a better deal on the needle kiosk. It didn't turn out to be a better deal, it was $10 more, so, but we are utilizing that a lot more. I don't know if it's the time of year where people are cleaning out things, but it always seems from like December to February, I get inundated with needles. And it's a really, it's a great thing to have.
Yeah,
The people are
yes.
just very happy that they can come and they can dispose of them. And I tried, as I said, I tried to look at another company to see if there was any type of volume difference, and they actually charged $10 more, and I'm sure that's because they were farther away. So, but we always try to keep it competitive. You have your third quarter nurses' bills from Neshoba, which is for Rick and the nurses. You have Unitil, which is running at a cool 50.
Tomorrow, huh?
Yeah. And GW Shar and Son, just their normal invoice, so nothing outrageous. Our mattresses are gonna be disposed of again this Friday. I talked to Tough Stuff Recycling, we're gonna get a report on exactly how many mattresses were disposed of, how much recycling that helped, and what we've done with the mattress ban with the Massachusetts textile ban. So I think that would be really important to include in our annual report.
Indeed.
And that is all I have. If it pleases the board to keep the day after Christmas a to be determined, where Rick doesn't have any septic permits. We do have the housing updates. Probably wanna keep it for the 26th.
Yeah, what did we talk about last time? We can keep it and then, we can talk individually,
Okay.
right? Probably. Let's, when does Kathy need the, agenda?
48 hours notice with the holiday, I think she will probably want it
Thursday?
on, I was gonna say Wednesday.
She's gonna want it, so maybe, why don't we just talk on the 19th?
Okay.
And, we'll see where we're at.
Okay.
Maybe we can push it off a meeting.
I will be out this Wednesday, if you hadn't seen. the email that's gone out and it's on the website and it's on the voicemail. I don't think it's gonna cause a problem. I can definitely check my emails and my voicemails before or after
Sounds
my
good.
appearances.
So the next meeting's to be determined,
Yes.
Yeah.
okay? Make a motion to adjourn.
Second that. Close the meeting at 6:31.
That's what it says.
That's what it says. Perfect.